Hello, good yo-yo people. I'm Nate. I'm a sponsored player by Squared YoYos, and this is another episode of Nate Reviews Yo-Yos. Today I have the privilege of reviewing the Interlagos by Smashing Yo-Yos. This is my review of the Interlagos. Alright, this is the in the hand section. What does it actually feel like in the hand before I throw it? Because that's very important, I believe, to yo-yoing, at least for me. If it's not comfortable in the hand, then it's not probably going to be comfortable on a catch when it's actually spinning and returning back to your hand. You're going to see in the description box everything about this yo-yo, so if you're looking for the specs, that's where you're going to find them. Also where to possibly buy this yo-yo and so on. Information about myself, my sponsor Squared YoYos as well. A couple weeks ago, I reviewed the monocle by Smashing Yo-Yos. Really loved it. Very much a organic shaped yo-yo, but also had a lot of sort of modern twist to it, but fairly laid back, but also could be pushed for more competition. So it's kind of nice for both worlds. This yo-yo could not be more opposite of the monocle. This is a signature yo-yo by Victor Sachelli, and you're going to see that it actually says his name on it, and it also has the Interlagos name on it as well. Really clean engravings on there. I'm not a huge fan of engravings most of the time on yo-yos, but this doesn't really take away from the design too much, and it's really just simple and clean. But you do see it's a signature yo-yo. So I've reviewed quite a few signature yo-yos, and I'll say the same thing I've said every time, is that a signature yo-yo may not be for everyone because it was designed for one person in particular. But if you play a little bit like Victor, you're probably going to maybe like this yo-yo. He actually also designed this yo-yo completely himself, whereas Smashing Yo-Yos produced it and so on and is selling it. Victor was the one who was involved in the entire process. He is a designer, and so his expertise went into this, designing it from the ground up. And so what you see in your hand is a true signature yo-yo, and very much how he exactly would want it. So that's kind of cool. It is a, I don't know, I would say it's an H-shape yo-yo, V-shape, you know, sort of hybrid in a way. And it's very much all performance. You can even tell that in the hand. Very much a performance-based yo-yo. Very much focused on competition. Really nice colors, really nice blasting. Same thing that it had with the monocle. Really loved that finish. It actually comes in the exact same purplish color here. Really like that color. Pops really nice, very vibrant. So the blast is really smooth. You could just tell on this by feeling it, just kind of, and you'll be able to see more on the string, just very beefy rims. Tons of rim weight in that H shape. Fairly comfortable in the hand with that H shape as well. It's going to rest fairly nicely in the hand. Nice kind of smooth corners, nothing too sharp. Overall, really comfortable in the hand. But yeah, like I said, very much performance. If you go to the cups here, you do have a IRG in there that's going to be pretty easy to pop up and get some thumb grinds. You also have sort of a finger spinning kind of dimple in the middle. It's kind of an unusual dimple there because it's raised, and so you would guess that you have to kind of hit it almost exact. So there's going to be some practice there. Now I'll kind of skip ahead and tell you that the couple weeks I've had this, I'm not able to get a perfect centering finger spin every time. But if you can hit that, you can let it rest there and centered pretty well. But it is, you know, it's kind of an unusual finger spinning cup. Really huge gap. Again, very performance based. And so really huge gap on there that's going to open up, and you'll get quite a few string wraps as well. Tons of, you know, not very much friction against there, so it's going to be really good for horizontal tricks and so on as well. Pretty hefty in the hand. On the specs, it's not crazy heavy, but you can definitely feel that heft. That's going to have some fairly long spin times. All right, so let's go see how it actually plays on the string and see if all these assumptions of whether it's a performance-driven yo-yo or not are actually true. All right, welcome back to the On the String section with the Interlagos by Smashing Yo-Yos. All right, as I stated in the hand section, this yo-yo is meant for a 100% performance-driven yo-yo, and I could not disagree with that statement. Very much a performance-driven yo-yo. Has quite a bit of heft to it. You know, a lot of performance-driven yo-yos tend to be, or competition-driven yo-yos tend to be a little bit lighter. This one has, you can definitely feel. It's not a brick by any means. I kind of like. It depends. I do like heavier, feeling more commanding yo-yos. Part of that is because the amount of weight distribution that is on the rims, quite a bit there. You could even feel that in the hand. Incredible spin times on this yo-yo. Also very stable. So a lot of those things that you're looking for in a competition yo-yo, this definitely has them. I would argue though that it's almost competition driven to performance driven to a fault in a way, because that's really kind of what it's designed for. Now, if you're a competition yo-yoer and like you're looking for that thing, that yo-yo to push you at your next contest, I mean, the Interlagos might be great. But if you're somebody like me who really doesn't compete, or you don't compete very often, or if you do compete and you're looking for a yo-yo that's also kind of, you know, just more a little laid back and more fun, this might not be for you. But for certain, if you're wanting to push a lot of those competition elements, this is going to help you with that, because it has pretty much everything in competition that you would want. You know, from long combos to super stable yo-yo play and all those sort of things that you would want in competition-driven yo-yos, you're going to have this. It's also going to be really smooth for horizontal play as well, where it really keeps that plane. It is really quite nice on a catch. It's comfortable, and so you have that going for it, as far as maybe a little bit on the line of, you know, laid back sort of play. A lot of competition-driven yo-yos tend to be a little bit more aggressive in their shape. Whereas this is, you know, competition shape-wise, but it's also fairly comfortable in the hand. The other thing I talked about was the finger spin in the hand section, where you might have some issues kind of centering that. Let me see if I can pop it up here. Yeah, see, I'm not hitting that. I'm able to get a little bit, but it doesn't center. You can kind of feel around to it. You'll see that there's like a little wall, a little lip there, and if you don't get it quite right, you're gonna miss it. Gap on the Interlagos is fairly aggressive. You're going to be able to get a lot of string wraps without it really slowing down, but also, you know, have some really fairly decent tight binds as well. I would recommend a thicker string on this, you know, so if you have, you know, if you're playing kitty or something like that, you know, standard strings, you might want to kind of probably focus on getting some thick kitty probably for this. It might have a little tighter binds, but again, that's preference. I haven't really tried it with much thinner. I don't really have anything right now that's super thin. Or standard regular thickness, so you know, I can't speak, but I would probably guess, because of the gap on this, you might want to have a little thicker string. All right, let's go ahead and throw a trick. My final opinion on the Interlagos by Smashing Yo-Yos. You know, I really like it for what it is. It's very much, like I said, all performance-based, all competition-based. If I were preparing for a contest, this will be a really good candidate for that. I could really see how this fits in with Victor's style of play and so on from the few videos I've seen of his. It's really cool to see somebody actually be able to design themselves a yo-yo exactly to the specs that they'd want. So that's pretty cool as far as signature yo-yos are concerned, and fairly unique out there. It's definitely a smooth yo-yo. Definitely checks off a lot of those boxes that you'd want for a competition-driven yo-yo. Overall, really enjoyed this yo-yo, especially for those competition performance-based sort of tricks that you're going to push for. So this is going to help you achieve those goals. All right. This is my review of the Interlagos by Smashing Yo-Yos. Good day and good yo-yo.